legitimately though, I'm considering making a DK tutorial because then DK is so much more versatile than someone like Mario. Because if you think Mario, you think, okay, you can make Mario from it. But if you think DK, Kiddy Kong, Chunky Kong, Swinky Kong, Funky Kong, literally, basically any other Kong.
Do I gotta do all of your unused tutorials? Hey guys, it's me, All-Star Plush Productions, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a Donkey Kong, Chunky Kong, and Funky Kong plush. Now, let's get into this tutorial. Materials you will need are cream fabric, red fabric, light blue fabric for Funky Kong, white fabric for Funky and Chunky, yellow fabric, along with blue fabric for Chunky, and brown fabric. But if you're doing Funky, you're going to need a lighter brown. You're also going to need threads in the matching colors, and in pins and needles and stuffing. Now, you're also going to need the pattern, linked in the description down below. It's on my Twitter, so yeah. Now to start off, we're going to get the arm piece, and we're going to sew up these darts right here. Make sure to mirror this. Now that you have your arms, you're going to sew from here all the way to here, leaving this part open and this part open. Now that you have that, it'll look something like this. Next, you're going to take your hand piece and you're going to sew from here all the way around down to here, leaving this hole open. Now, you're going to sew the hand to the arm like this. Now it'll look something like this. Now you can fold it right side out and stuff it, and it'll look something like this. Now you can take your body piece and your back piece and align the edges right like this. And you're going to want to sew across this little edge here, the side edge here, and one little stitch up here. Then once you have both those, you can sew across the entire back all the way down to here. Now you can stuff the arm into here. Now my Donkey Kong plush is standing up, but if you want yours to be on all fours, what you're going to do is you're going to sew the top dart aligned with the top stitch like you did in the Diddy Kong tutorial. And now you're going to take your leg pieces and you're going to sew from here to here and from here all the way around to here. Now you also want to make sure that you mirror this for both of the legs. Now it'll look something like this. Make sure you mirrored it for both the legs. Now that you have this, you're going to take your foot piece and sew up this dart here. Make sure that you also have mirrored it for each of the feet. Now you're going to take your leg and sew it on with the part that doesn't have the round part facing towards the thumb on the foot. And make sure to mirror that. And it should look something like this. Now it should look something like this, and then you can place your bottom foot on top and stitch it in. It'll look something like this once it's done. Now you can flip it right side out and stuff it. This is what it'll look like when it's flipped right side out and stuffed. Now you can sew it into the body, making sure that you sew all the way around. Now, once your DK body's done, it should look something like this. My DK is standing up as you see, but if you want yours to be sitting down, just do what you did in the Diddy tutorial and put the dart on the side at the top. Now you're going to get the face or chin piece and you're going to sew up the darts like you did in the Diddy tutorial across these edges. Now it should look something like this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our lips and we are going to, you want to sew across this edge, just fold it in half and sew across the edge so it looks something like this. Then you're going to want to take your other piece right here and you're going to want to sew it into the bottom chin with the lips inside of it. Now I don't have any footage of what the chin looks like. For some reason I just didn't film that, so here is basically just what it will look like. Just basic stuff. Then you're going to take your headpiece and just sew up the dart right here. Once you have both those darts, it should look something like this. Make sure you do this for the other side and make sure you mirror it. Now it should look something like this. So you're going to sew from here all the way around down to here, this edge. Now it should look something like this. Now you can flip it the back where the stitches are showing and grab your muzzle, and you're going to sew it in to the face, making sure that the middle of the face or muzzle aligns with the top stitch there. So it'll look something like this once you're done. Make sure to do a small running stitch across the bottom.
So do you guys want to do pizza? Do you want to do Wingstop?
I kind of do Wingstop.
Okay, Wingstop. Let's see. Let me
Make
look
sure you
up the
get the
menu.
Louisiana rub.
Louisiana rub.
See, what were the other two that we got besides the mask?
Now you can take this brow piece and sew from here all the way around down to here, and the same thing with that side, and flip it right side out. It should look something like this. It might be a little hard to flip it right side out, but it's possible. Then you can sew it onto the face if you're making DK or funky. But as you see, I didn't sew it onto the face because I'm making Chunky, which will have only eyes. He doesn't have a brow. So yeah, this is what your body should look like once it's all done. Now we're going to take our chest pieces and we're going to sew up these darts here, making sure to mirror it for the other chest piece. Then you can fold the two chest pieces together and sew across the straight edge. Then you can ladder stitch it onto the body, making sure that you stuff it as you go along, and it should look something like this. Now you want to make sure that when you have this tummy piece, you want to sew across the straight edge and then glue it on down under the chest. Now I'm going to continue to make Chunky. So let's continue to make Chunky. This is just the base, so we're going to continue. First, you're going to need your shirt pieces, and you're going to sew across this edge here for both sides. Now it should look something like this. Now, if you're making Funky, you can just put it on your plush right now. But for Chunky, he has the sleeves. So we're going to continue to make those, and I'll show you how to do that right now. So you're going to take your sleeve piece, and you're going to sew across right over here, down just one stitch right here. Then you will sew it on, and it'll look something like this. Now, with the shirt on, you should look like this. Make sure if you're doing your shirt, you also want to angle it if you're doing Chunky down. For your coat, you just want to sew that right there, this edge right here, and that edge right there, and it should look something like this, and then you can place it on your plush and it'll look something like this. So yeah, it's looking pretty nice. Now onto the hat. For the hat, you want to sew across this curved edge here, and then it should look something like this. Then you want to take both your hat pieces and you're going to sandwich them together, I guess. So across this edge right here, the round edge, leaving this edge open down here. Then you can get your cap piece and sew all the way around, leaving the hole open at the bottom. And then you can just flip it right side out. Then you can get a cardboard piece that's a little smaller than the cap and stick it in. You can also hot glue it in. You can hot glue it in, just keep it a little more secure. But you're going to sew it into it, so it doesn't really matter. Here we have the hat all done. So you're going to flip it the right way out. And then you're going to place your little brim piece, and you're going to sew the brim onto there. And it should look something like this. Then you can grab your plush, and you can place it onto your plush. Just ladder stitch it on, and if you think your nose is looking a little flat, your muzzle, then you can just do what I'm doing here. You can start off with a few stitches at the very bottom of where the neck is. Kind of, he doesn't really have a neck, but where the neck would be. You're gonna start off right down there, and then you want to poke your needle all the way through until you hit the top point right here. I did it a little too far, so I go back right here and go back a little bit, and I'm rethreading my needle because that's really annoying when that happens. But then what you want to do is you want to take it and you want to push it through the other side until it comes down. Once you have that, you're just going to pull tightly and it'll make a line, an indent, and it'll push the nose up a little more. So it'll be like that. You just remove a couple stitches to tie it off, and that'll be it. So as you see here, I have it all done, and it looks much better. And yes, I am watching Blob's Wisp with Dixie Stream just to get motivation. Then you can cut out eyes to look something like this. Then you can glue them all on together. And yeah, I know that he has his green design on the back of his jacket, but I was too lazy to add it. You can just do that by just putting some green and then gluing on some stripes. You can leave your hands open, or you can close them in fists. If you want to know how to close them in fists, because I'm leaving mine flat. If you want to know how to close them in fists, you can check out the Diddy tutorial. Now for Chunky, you want to make sure that you only give him 2 stitches instead of 3, because he actually only has 3 fingers for some reason. It's really weird. Now you're going to want to take your earpiece and do something similar to what you did in the Diddy tutorial, and leave that little edge open, and then you can just, once it's sewn and flipped right side out, you can just put those little edges over and then sew it on to the head. So yeah, it looks something like this once it's sewn on. Now you can put on all your accessories for him, and he'll look something like this. Now you just want to freehand all your accessories, like his buttons. For his buttons, you can just cut out circles. For his belt, you just want to make sure you have a strip that goes all the way around with a buckle at the end. Very simple stuff, just glue that on. Once all your stuff is glued on, your Chunky Kong plush is finished. Now, let's get on to making the other plushies. As you know, we have other characters, so we're gonna get into making Funky Kong. Alright, so to make Funky Kong, I already made him as the test, so yeah, this is gonna be I'm just gonna explain. So, what you're gonna wanna do for him is, you're just gonna use the same shirt, and make the same buckle as you did for him, but for his pants, you just wanna sew across these edges, leaving the flat part open up there, and his leg holes open, and yeah, just cut that out. And for his headband, what you want to do is you just want to sew up the little darts and sew all the way around. Then you can sew or glue on his little end piece. I don't know what that is called. But then for his circles, I made the mistake of hot gluing them on. What you want to do is you want to stitch around them, because you see they kind of look like they're peeling back. So you just want to stitch all the way around the circles. And he has a brow, and you just glue on his glasses. And yeah, that's basically it. Now let's move on to DK. So for DK, you want to fold his tie in half like this, and you can sew across the long straight edge, leaving the small edges open. These small edges right here. Then after you have that, you want to take your tie piece and you want to sew from here all the way down around to here, leaving this part open right there. Then you can flip it right side out. Now you want to take your knot piece and you're going to sew across this part and you're going to stick the necktie part in. And you're going to sew it in like this. Make sure that your other end isn't sewn in. So I'm just going to show briefly how to sew this in. What you're going to want to do is, after you sew that in, you're going to keep the stitches. What you're going to want to do is ladder stitch one side and then blanket stitch the other side, so that it looks good. So I'm just doing that right here, basically. So once you have that, it should look something like this. Now what you can do is you're going to just kind of ladder stitch that part in, but before you do that, you want to take your plush and you want to basically just put it around the plush's neck. Then once it's put around the plush's neck, you can just take it and ladder stitch it in so that the ties fit. And that's basically it, guys. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and remember to like, subscribe, and that's it. So thank you for watching this, and I'll see you later. Bye.